One, two, three, four, five. Top 5 Gaming Podcast, Episode 6. I'm your host, Austin. With me, as always, is Casey.
It's another mole!
Yeah. And today we're continuing our Zelda bit. Our episode today is on bosses and characters of the Zelda series, our top 5 of each of those. And what I was thinking, Casey, is that we'd start with characters because they're less interesting. And
Fuck off. I say we start with bosses because they're less interesting.
Really? Okay.
You're a bitch.
Okay, we can follow your rules today, Casey.
No, we can do characters.
Okay. We're doing characters.
You're still a bitch, but it's fine.
I know it, Casey. I know. So, do you want to get us started with your first character, or should I?
My fifth character is Tetra from the Wind Waker.
Ooh, I like this character.
Indeed. The Pirate Queen and the deuteragonist of Wind Waker. Those of you who, well, I won't spoil her big twist or whatever, but essentially she's the original catalyst of Wind Waker's story because it starts off with her being rescued by Link, and then she helps him with her little merry crew of pirates pursue a monster that stole his sister.
Yeah.
What I like about her is that she's a very good character. She's smart, she's sassy, compassionate, but she's cool and likable at the same time.
Yeah, I enjoyed that character a lot, and we talked a little bit about her in the last podcast.
Yes. And I also like how she actually takes action and helps Link quite a bit throughout his journey. Like, It's not like she's just sitting there and, eating pies or whatever.
I think that she would have been a better character if she ate more pies, though, to be honest.
Well, look, man, your fetish for obesity is getting a bit out there.
Yeah, I don't need to bring my fetishes into the podcast realm, do I? Alright.
Only reason she's in number 5 is because, frankly, she's completely wasted on the second half of the game. And we all know why.
We do. We do. So, Casey, my number 5, I don't have a lot to say about him. He doesn't do that much, but he's memorable in the little that he does.
Is this Tingle?
No, fuck Tingle.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Holy God.
This is King Goron Darunia?
Oh, from Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah, he's a Goron dude. He's like locked in his, I don't know, his chambers or whatever when you get there. And after you start talking to him, he's a little down, and all that he really wants to do is dance.
Can we have fuck DLC for Breath of the Wild? Can we do a DLC where Darunia follows his dream to become a dancer?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a kind of out there puzzle, like game wise, but yeah, I thought it was cool, like just to have his this gigantic dude, this character, and then he just breaks out into a dance.
And he's doing this fucking weird ass truffle shuffle dance or something.
Yeah, and the Lost Woods theme is I don't know, it's a cool tune. So
that is catchy.
Yeah, I can appreciate his taste in music. And then later on in the game, he becomes the Sage of Fire.
Yes.
And I don't know, it was just I really like the character.
He sees you as your brother, as his brother. He sees you as your brother. He wishes you could live up to him.
Yeah, I'll never live up to King Goron. And his brother, he named his son Link or something like that? If I'm not mistaken.
Which is a little weird.
Yeah, so, Link and Darunia have, a mutual respect.
How do Gorons have children?
That is the question of the day.
Well, Austin, these are the questions of the day. That's right, Casey, these are the questions of the day.
How do they eat rocks? Another question.
Digestive fluid.
Okay. I'll accept that.
I've read up. The book based on the movie.
Casey, number 4. Character.
Number 4. And this is where I'm loving that you don't give a shit about characters and I do, because I'm about to get into a bigger spiel about my characters.
Great. It'll be a nice juxtaposition to my one sentence for every single one of these characters that I've prepared.
Okay, my number 4 is King Bulbin from Twilight Princess.
I don't even remember this character.
I know you don't. I was actually going to ask, who's King Balbin? And it was just going to be like, no.
I preempted your question with an answer, Casey.
Yes.
But please explain to me.
He is a minor antagonist and a recurrent mini-boss throughout Twilight Princess. Like with Tetra, he's kind of the starting force of what gets the story going, because he's this giant, like, imp lord thing, this giant fat green imp with, like, horns and whatever. He leads the bokoblins, or whatever they're called. Imp people.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple, like, half an hour into the game, he comes in, kidnaps all of Link's friends, runs away, knocks him out, of course, and causes Link to, chase him and start his adventure, right?
Okay.
From then on, he just keeps appearing repeatedly throughout the game as a mini-boss. You have to fight him 4 times, I believe. Twice in a jousting match and twice in close-range combat.
Okay. Yeah.
And originally, he's kind of imposing, because he's like twice the size of Link. He's morbidly obese. Mm-hmm.
Oh, how about that?
But
I gotta replay that game.
Oh my. So originally he's imposing, but with every time you beat him, he feels a bit less menacing and just more like an inconvenience, like he's a joke kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really not a lot to his character, mind you, because he's just like a generic bad guy general of an army.
Yeah.
What's cool about him is that he's completely silent throughout the entire game up until the final encounter, whereupon he speaks to you and challenges you to a fight. And after he loses to you, he goes, "Enough, I follow the strongest side. That is all I've ever known," right?
Okay.
And it's cool because Twilight Princess has this ability to kind of surprise you with what the characters will do or what they become. And in that one sentence, it not only does it shock everyone that he can speak, because even Midna immediately says afterward, "Link, he spoke!" Like it was a total shock.
Yeah.
But it also establishes that he acknowledges Link's strength. It reveals his character, that he's kind of like that I follow the strong type.
Yeah.
And it establishes that he's kind of he respects Link enough to not fight against him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just to finish it all off, he gives you the key that you need to progress through the final dungeon.
Okay.
It's very, I don't know, it made him way more endearing to me, because the entire time I just saw him as an aggravating enemy, but at the end it's just kind of like, oh my god, he actually had a motivation and a reason to do what he did, per se.
Yeah, that's neat. I usually don't even notice those kinds of details, Casey, so I'm glad that you can bring them out for me.
Yeah, the only reason he's number 4 is he could have used, and like you said, since you don't notice those kind of details, he could have used way more screen time and a bit more variety.
Yeah. So I think my number 4 is going to come to a shock to you, Casey. It's Tetra from Wind Waker.
No!
I know.
You did that because her name.
I did. I can't even think of a pun. Gosh. I'm sorry, everybody. I've let you down. But Tetra, she's like this badass character who is involved, and she's like this pirate queen. She's like your age, and then, the story revolves around her in the beginning. Anyways, Casey said that he wasn't going to spoil anything for you, but I am. So,
Yeah, you son of a bitch. Spoiler warning, go click on the timestamp if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I guess.
We'll put a timestamp thing. Alright, cool. So, Tetra turns into Princess Zelda.
Zordon!
Oh, goodness. Everybody's afraid. And she becomes much less cool when she's Zelda, because they just, like, hide her out in this, I don't know, this one area.
I stand.
Yeah. But, I mean, as Zelda, it's pretty cool that she does help with that final boss fight. And then she reverts back to Tetra at the very end of the game, when they go to find a new land.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. So that's my short Tetra commentary after Casey took all the good points.
It's just a shame that, like, I don't see why she had to be... I mean, I don't have a problem with her being Princess Zelda.
Yeah.
I don't see why she had to undergo a physical change from, like, a suntanned badass pirate to a white-bread princess lady.
Familiarity, Casey. You gotta stick with the formula. You gotta have
God.
your Zelda tropes.
Look at all that familiarity. I can see it breeding contempt.
Casey, number 3.
All right, here comes a character that you don't know anything about, so let's try again to see if I can explain why he's cool.
Nice.
I speak of Groose from Skyward Sword.
That's gross.
Ave Maria.
So who's Groose? Groose? Did I say it right? Groose?
Yeah, it's Groose. It's Goose, but with R.
Bruce?
Anyway, he's a childhood bully to Link, and he also has a one-sided rivalry for Zelda's affection. Very anime.
Oh, yeah.
He's like this gigantic fucking burly idiot guy who likes Zelda and hates Link because Zelda likes Link, and Jenny said this about Billy, and
What
he
game
just
were we
kind
talking about again?
What?
What game does Groose appear in again?
Skyward Sword.
Skyward, okay.
And he's a great character though, because he's really emotive. He's probably like one of the most like emotive characters in Skyward Sword. He's like a direct contrast to Fi, your side character.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's very like just expressive, like he's constantly like showing off and like showboating himself.
Okay.
And he's constantly like picking on Link and trying to make him look like an idiot. He's very funny, I have to say, because when reality comes crashing down on him that nobody likes him and that there's a world beyond the sky world, he kind of has like an existential crisis. He also has a fucking pompadour.
That's a hat, right?
Yeah, sure. It's a hair hat. It's a hair.
Okay, hair hat. Got it.
It looks like it looks like just a giant, massive hair dick on your head.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. He rocks something like that, and it's fucking retarded.
That's amazing. I think that's what I'm gonna do this summer.
Oh God. Well, you used to wear an afro. This can be. Oh, do an afro and then put a pompadour on top of it, so it looks like a dick and balls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'll even like shave a little bit in the middle of my head, so it'll separate into two balls. Okay. It's good ideas, Casey.
I think I'm gonna throw up. Anyway, the reason I like this guy is because he's one of the only characters in Skyward Sword with an actual like appreciable character and character arc to him.
Okay.
Because everyone makes a big deal about how in Skyward Sword Link and Zelda have character and shit. No, they don't. It's just muted and you don't really see much of it. But this guy, because he has the benefit of being able to speak and he constantly has screen presence at times, he's actually able to like establish himself as a character, and he starts off as an idiotic bully, transitions to having a personal crisis when Zelda disappears, and eventually through a series of mishaps and all that, comes to respect Link and help him save Zelda.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, there's actual character development, and he even like factors into the story to a degree, and the culmination of his growth is that he even helps fight one of the bosses with you. Like he'll get in a cannon and fire at the boss to help you like take him down.
Yeah, that's awesome to see that kind of character development in Zelda games. Where I guess on my first, like when we said that we were going to do top 5 characters, I was like, this is going to be kind of hard because I thought pretty much everybody was one dimensional. But it's nice to see that characters can change and develop.
Yeah, well, I mean, like a character like Tetra, I would call kind of one dimensional.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she grows to be nicer to Link per se.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as much of a growth.
Looking at my list, pretty much everybody's one-dimensional.
Well, at least they can move right.
Yeah.
And left.
Yeah.
But anyway, Groose is number 3 because, as nice as his character is, it's still generic and it's very anime-like. But then again, Skyward Sword is probably has the most anime-like characters in all of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you see Zelda. You'll swear to God that she just popped right out of, like, fucking Naruto.
Again, I still have to play Skyward Sword. Gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
All right. My number 3 is Impa.
From which one?
Yeah, I didn't realize this when I was doing a little bit of research to figure out, like, to try and even remember some of these characters. And, like, the Impa that came to my mind was Ocarina of Time. But I didn't realize that she's pretty much in almost every game, every Zelda game. Even the first one she's mentioned.
Was she in Wind Waker? I can't remember.
No, she wasn't. That was, like,
okay.
The only one, or one of the only ones. There's like a stained glass window in like the Hyrule Temple or whatever that's underwater.
Oh, I fucking love that place.
Yeah, that place is really cool. But that's the only reference to her. But anyways, apparently in most of the games she's an old lady. But in Ocarina of Time, she's like this badass ninja protector. And she's a part of the, I guess, Sheikah group of people that have like, I don't know, like these. Are they all ladies, Casey?
I have no idea. We only ever see Sheik and Impa.
Yeah, so as far as I can tell, they're all ladies, or most of them are ladies. But
I like the
anyways, like
Pluto.
she's the, I don't know, awesome lady character protector, and that scene that she rides out of Hyrule Castle in front of Ganondorf or whatever in Ocarina of Time with Zelda on the horse. I don't know. I just thought that was an awesome scene.
Yeah,
And she teaches you like a song or two, and she becomes, I think she's one of those sages, like the Sage of Shadow or something like that.
partially.
Yeah. It's her favorite garment.
Garment?
Is that, no, garnish. That's the word. Garment garnish.
Garmentia.
You'd think that English wasn't my first language, but it is.
Si, senor. No, no, no. I saw X-Men. I saw Logan.
Okay.
There's a Spanish person in there, too.
Oh, wow.
Multiple, actually.
Diversity. Cultural appropriation.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so that's all I have to say about Impa, really. Casey, number 3.
All right. Wait, number 3? Oh, wait.
Casey,
I did number 3.
Casey, number 2.
Yeah, number 2. And here's where I... Brace yourself,
I'm
ladies
bracing.
and gents, because here's where I'm going to start getting more fan gushy.
Oh.
Number 2 is the Usurper King, Zant,
Oh,
from
okay.
Twilight Princess.
I'm seeing like a pattern. How many Twilight Princess characters do you have?
Nobody?
All right. Give us some Zant, Casey.
He is the secondary antagonist of Twilight Princess, the evil king of the Twilight Realm who seeks to conquer and rule both the Light and Twilight world. He is pretty much the main antagonist for the first half of the game. And what I like about him, well, there's a lot of reasons I like him, but one of the things I do you remember this guy? Do you remember what he looks like?
I remember Zant. Yeah.
He's got really cool design.
Yeah. You can't really see his hands because his sleeves are too long, and
Yeah, when I saw him, I thought he like resembled an Aztec god in a way, because he's like adorned in like black and green robes. He's got like crocodile shoes, like they look like actual like croc mouths.
and he has
And
that
he's
pointy
wearing
hat.
this massive chameleon helmet.
Yeah.
And it was like coming off of stuff like Ganondorf, he just looked kind of like bizarre as a villain,
Yeah.
and it was really like intriguing. The thing that puts Zant in number 2 for me though is the fact that is his actual character, and he's got a really well implemented arc throughout the game.
Okay.
Because he starts off as like as I was saying, he starts off as like this oppressive feeling Ganondorf-like character. You know, he's rarely seen, but every scene he's got is like he's very ominous and powerful, you know?
Yeah.
And throughout the first half of the game, before you even encounter him, you start like you're led to feel like you're growing like really strong, and because you're killing all these bosses, you're killing all these minions of Zant, you're getting better equipment, and you've even finally like acquired all of the things that Midna thought would help you stop him, like the fused shadow masks pieces. Then from out of nowhere, after you get all the fused shadow pieces, in a cutscene that for the most part could have just been like just walk away from the dungeon thing, he appears behind you. Like it's like a double take, like he just appears behind you, and he easily beats your ass. He defeats a light spirit, like one of the spirits of nature that was trying to help you, and he just like tosses him around like a salad. He turns you into a wolf for like permanently, and he mortally wounds your side character, who couldn't even beat him with the powerful MacGuffins that y'all were seeking in the first place. It's just this one scene where he completely beats your ass inside out, and afterward you're just left kind of to lick your wounds, and you have to get even stronger, right?
Yep.
So you're left with like this dark, like apparently very ominous, terrifying character, and you see him a few more times. You don't really fight him or anything, but then the final encounter, you have a conversation with him right before the fight. And the conversation, he takes off his helmet. First of all, he looks goofy without his helmet, which just accentuates what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Like, the conversation you have with him reveals that he's nothing more than this petulant little man-child prone to, like, psychotic tantrums and jealousy.
Yeah.
And I was enamored with that reveal, because it nicely juxtaposes with his original, like, Ganondorf presence. Because it's like suddenly it's like he's just like this pathetic guy, and this is what I've been fearing this whole time kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I like how it also like highlights just how much stronger you've grown, that you can now stand next to him and see just how pathetic he really is. Like, you've matured, or Link's matured or whatever, but Xant's now revealed to be like this little sniveling child.
Yeah, I remember that scene, and the part that I remember most is it's the first time that you get to hear his voice.
Yeah.
And I just remember it being like jarring from what I would expect his voice to sound like. I think it was like really high pitched and almost like childlike, and I don't know.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, when he's talking, like, he starts, like, his body movements are just bizarre. He, like, starts twisting his neck and, like, floating about, like, like, it just completely destroys his entire, like, persona of this terrifying, like, presence.
Yeah.
And I was just enamored with it. I was enamored with, like, how well they did it.
Yeah, it really does break your expectations.
Yeah. The reason why Xant is number 2 is because he's an original, impressive villain, and I love him entirely. He's supplanted by Ganondorf halfway through the game for no good reason.
Yeah.
Like, Ganondorf didn't need to be in that game, and he is, and it fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that when I was playing the game, and I didn't know that Ganondorf was in the game until that moment, and you were like, fuck this moment.
Yeah,
Oh, man. Alright, so my number 2 is in here for iconic reasons, just that it's... okay, it's the old man in Zelda 1.
Oh, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Exactly, that line. It's been memeified and all that stuff. And then looking it up, I learned a little bit more about it. Because I do remember, I played a little bit of Zelda 1 when I was growing up. And I could never beat it because it was like way too hard for me. And that too. But there are like a bunch of old men in Zelda 1, and they're in the first couple games. I think Link's Awakening he's in, and Oracle.
Oh, God damn it, Sassafras or whatever his name is. I remember that.
In the Oracle games or whatever, and I guess most recently it's like kind of implied at the beginning of the game, but he isn't really in Breath of the Wild, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of like this mysterious character that gives you advice and items or whatever, and I don't know, it's mostly that he's iconic. And then there's like this one other thing that I learned, that if you attack him, that he has like these...
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He like sends his fireballs at you.
Like there's 2 torches and they'll just shoot fireballs at you if you try and attack him. I thought that was pretty neat. And apparently that later on in the game, I never got this far in Zelda 1, that there are like these old women characters that give you healing stuff.
Right.
I don't know. It's just a neat character, and it's... I don't know. I'm gonna say it again.
He definitely is
iconic.
One of the original iconics.
Yeah. I wonder if our number one's gonna be the same, Casey.
Something tells me if you're following the pattern of what I've been choosing so far, you might know very easily what my number one's gonna be.
Yeah, I know who your number 1 is. It's not my number 1.
Okay, cool. But before we do number 1, just a few honorable mentions. I like Saria.
Okay.
From Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I like the Skull Kid from Majora's Mask. I think he's a good kind of little tragic character in and of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Ruto, because I like tsundere characters, and she's a cunt.
What's tsundere mean again?
Abusive to the person, but then starts to fall in love with him.
Okay, yeah. I just know about that. There's like a game, Tsundere Simulator.
Oh, Tsundere Simulator?
Yeah, and I hear stuff about that, and I never knew what Tsundere meant.
Yeah, and not that I like that. I mean, I don't particularly like how they do Ruto, but I just think they do it comedically, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's a bitch, and then she's just like, "Oh, I love you. Thanks for carrying me. I want your dick in me."
I was a burden to you for a while. Do you love me now?
Nice. And then last honor is Tattle, your fairy friend from Majora's Mask, just because she actually had personality as opposed to Navi.
Yeah, there's a little bit of contention at the beginning of the game because, she was with Skull Kid or whatever.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, none of these characters are world-endingly good or anything, but I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 1 is Ganondorf. Actually, just kidding. Fuck Ganondorf.
Yeah.
My number one is Midna from Twilight Princess.
Nice.
She is the sidekick of Twilight Princess and the deuteragonist. I said that word twice now, which is fitting because dude.
Dude man, bro.
Dude man, bro. Anyway, she's an imp from the Twilight Realm who seeks help in overthrowing the usurper King Zant, right?
Truth.
I like her because I'm pretty sure that of all the Zelda games I've played, of all the Zelda characters I've met, she is the most fleshed out character in the entire franchise. And so much so that I know for a fact she is, like, a lot of people who don't even like Twilight Princess will point out that Midna is like the saving grace of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree that she is probably the strongest force of that game. But I like her because she's endearing. She's got a, fittingly enough, an impish personality. She's sassy, she's demeaning, she's playful. One of the scenes that always sticks out in my mind is when you acquire a sword and shield for the first time. She, like, is trying to figure out what to do with it, and she puts the shield on her face like a mask and just starts swinging the sword, like, as Link's just like, whoa, would you cut it out?
I remember that scene. That was good.
And I like that she has an actual character arc, because she starts off as dismissive of Link and Zelda and the light world and its people, but as time goes on, as she realizes that she's in over her head, and through a sacrifice that Zelda makes and through Link's own heroic actions, she comes to respect and admire the light world.
Yeah.
And you can clearly, like, it's especially good because I think a good example of character development is when you cannot exactly pinpoint when the character started being different. Like, if you see a show and you notice that, like, someone is really different from how they were first introduced, but you can't pinpoint when exactly that happened, I think that's good character development, and I think Midna has that. I also like that her relationship with Link is pretty dynamic. Starts off as condescending, it evolves into respect, trust, friendship, possible feelings, which I'll ship to the ends of the world. Toot toot.
Yeah, I really liked, like, her abilities, just the way that they looked, like that giant hand thing that she'd manipulate the world with.
Yeah, I was just about to say, she's an actually useful sidekick, which is, I'm pretty sure she's one of the only useful sidekicks in Zelda games, because she can, like, mark enemies for you to attack as a wolf with her hand. Mm-hmm. And she can also be used to, like, help you reach certain places by, like, Z-targeting her.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Remember how you could, like, jump from tree to tree or whatever with that?
Yeah, and there's, like, poison on the ground or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, just overall, I like that she's an integral part of the story, and she's not just a medium for Link's thoughts. Mm-hmm. Like, she actually is a character, unlike Navi or even Tattle or anything where it's just kind of like, I'm there to mostly tell you what you should do and also summarize your thoughts on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And her conclusion in the game is actually a very bittersweet. It's sad but fulfilling. And overall, I don't know. I would say that Midna is such a strong character that she's probably my number one reason for how much I like Twilight Princess.
Yeah, she was pretty excellent.
Yeah.
I liked the way that she looked too. Like, it was like a young girl with, like, dark features, and then her smile was always really, like, bright in contrast to the darkness around her or whatever.
Yeah, she also had a good twist. Like, do you remember the twist with her?
Nope.
She is the Twilight Princess.
Oh, okay.
Like, They originally tried to fool you into thinking Zelda was the Twilight Princess, but then it becomes apparent that she is.
Yeah.
And it just made for a neat little twist, because I legit thought that Zelda was just, oh, okay, yeah, she's the Twilight Princess, the princess of this now Twilight Realm, whatever.
Yeah, that is really nice, Casey. Is that about it for...
Yep.
Midna? Okay. My number one character is the happy mask salesman.
He was going to be in an honorable mention.
Yeah. He's like...
He's a rapist.
Yeah, I know about him being in 2 games, at least. He's in Ocarina of Time, where there's, like, this mask subquest you can do where you find a mask for people and sell it and all that. Apparently... If you okay, so the happy mask salesman always has, like, this, like, shit-eating grin on him at all times.
Yeah, he does. So you call it shit-eating grin, I call it the rape face.
Yeah. But apparently, even in Ocarina of Time, like, if you went up to him in Ocarina of Time and you tried to buy a mask but you didn't have the money, his eyes would turn red. And like he'd get like crazy mad.
Yeah, he's got the perfect face when he's just upset.
Yeah. And then in Majora's Mask, he had a much more prominent role in the story. So the Skull Kid steals Majora's mask, or the mask that's the iconic mask for the whole game, from
Also known as Majora's Mask.
yeah, from the Happy Mask salesman, and then the Happy Mask salesman makes a deal with like this Deku version of Link that like I'll get you back to your normal form if you get your ocarina, but then you have to get me this mask back.
Yeah.
And then so everything works out where you meet the Skull Kid for the first time before the moon comes down or whatever. And and then afterwards you get back into human form because you learn a certain song. And then you talk to the Happy Mask salesman, and he's like, "Oh, did you get my mask?" And then you're like, "No." And then he fucking throttles Link.
I love that awkward silence where, like, hand me my mask. And then his face just turns like, "What have you done?"
Yeah.
And starts choking him.
Yeah. So, I don't know. He's like the most neat character that I thought that I'd encountered in all of Zelda.
Yeah.
He's a weird one. But yeah, my honorable mention, of course, was Midna. I really enjoyed Midna. I knew that she'd be on your list, so I didn't put her on mine.
Well, thanks. I'm glad that part of how we choose these lists is trying to not overlap.
Yeah. Awesome.
I have to.
Yeah.
One thing about the mask guy.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I never noticed, and I thought it was kind of interesting, was at the end of the game, it almost seems like he's like a godlike entity or something, because he shows up afterward and it like gives this little speech to Link and the Skull Kid and whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just walks away, and you see him like fade off.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like, is this guy a spirit or something? What's going on here?
And apparently, I can't really remember this, but I read it when you go to the moon, and there are like these kids running around with masks of his face.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so he gets around apparently.
Just a quick thing before we move on. What are some characters you fucking hate?
Oh God.
I know you mentioned one already.
I mean, I like when they break the tropes for Zelda. Whenever she is a little bit more powerful, like when she becomes Sheik, or when like it's implied that she's not completely helpless and stuff.
Yeah.
Like a weak character. Ganon is, I mean, he's really one-dimensional, and he like just serves a purpose. It's like Bowser.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's he's okay as a character. I mean, I don't like the Navi, how she's always bothering you. Hey, listen! Shut up, you damn fairy!
Once I did a voice of Navi. I was like playing a game with a friend. We were doing voices for her, and I went, "Hey, listen!" They recorded that, and they made that a cell phone ring. So it was like, "Hey, listen! Hey, listen!"
Nice. I've heard people have that, "Hey, listen," as a voice, or like a text message indicator or something like that, and it annoyed the shit out of me even then.
That's what parents should do to like encourage their kids not to use their cell phone as much. Just have an extremely annoying message like that.
Yeah. But I don't know. I all the characters, there's not any of them that I don't like, that I actually really hate or anything like that.
Yeah, I hate Ganondorf. I hate everything about him. He's this Lord Sauron wannabe, generic evil motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like you said, he serves a purpose. I wouldn't even mind that if he wasn't like in almost every Zelda game.
Yeah.
But and he doesn't like. At least Bowser has like a personality per se. I mean, now he's kind of established as an idiot.
Yeah, and he has his little kids that have more personality or whatever, and.
Yeah, Ganondorf is just one note, and it infuriates me that he gets star billing so much.
Yeah. Well, Casey, shall we get started with bosses?
Nah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go then. My number 5 boss, which I kind of forgot about. I went through all of the bosses for all the Zelda games that I played, and I forgot about this one. And then as soon as I saw him, I remembered the fight and remember really liking it. It's Crake from Phantom Hourglass. He's like a hermit crab thing that goes invisible. So Phantom Hourglass is on the 3DS. You have a top screen and a bottom screen.
Great game.
And in the bottom screen, you have to move your character with a stylus, right? Okay. So we have the basic controls set out of the way. On the top screen during this fight, you see through Craig's perspective.
I don't remember that at all. Holy shit.
So he's running around in like this arena area, and he's invisible to you on the bottom screen, so you can see your character and move around. And you get the arrow before, like the bow and arrow before this. So what you have to do is you have to figure out where he is based on what he's seeing, shoot him, and then if he becomes visible, and then you have to shoot different parts of him until you break his shell. And then,
wow, that is straight up like Battletoads.
Yeah.
Remember the first boss of that?
Yes. And then after you break his shell, he's visible the whole time, and then you have to shoot an arrow to make him flinch, and then you go behind him and hit his tail, and that's how you beat him. But that first part of the fight is really interesting, and then like it worked really well with the dual screen aspect of the DS.
Yeah.
And for people that have listened to all of these podcasts, meaning like the two people that have done
Do you think
that.
there's anyone who has? Like,
yeah, I know some people.
Are you serious? Hi.
Yeah. Anyways, for the people that have remember me talking shit about Star Fox and how you had to look between two screens or whatever, and how that was a bad mechanic. Here
this is different, though.
Yeah, here it works because it's not the whole game. Like, if the whole game was like that, it would be really crap and get old really fast. Like, it didn't, like, the controls didn't work really that well for this boss fight, but it was really neat. And they made it kind of easy because of how awkward it was, I think. But,
well, and on top of that, like, the DS, the screens are extremely close together. Like, there's a difference between just flicking your eye down or upward a little bit versus tilting your entire fucking neck.
Yeah, that's really true. But, yeah, I forgot about that, and I thought it was a really neat fight that's overlooked.
That does sound really... Like, I can't remember that at all, and I want to look that up, because that does... I'm surprised that I wouldn't remember something like that for this.
Yeah. Casey, what's your number 5 boss?
My number 5 is Ganondorf.
Ooh.
From Ocarina of Time, specifically.
Okay.
And we all know how the story goes. He's the final boss, or should I say a set of bosses, because he has
Multiple
2.5
forms.
phases.
Yeah.
The first one, you guys like get together and play Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 2.
He has a bikini on.
Oh god, I'm gonna puke again. And then the second phase, kind of, is running down a collapsing tower.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final phase is fighting Ganon, who is a giant pig demon, both with, and you have to fight him with and without your sword at times.
Yeah.
What I like about this fight is it's like, back in the day, and even now, I think, it is like the very epitome of an epic final boss fight.
True.
Like, the setting is like the setting, the intro, the music, the death of him, all of it. It's perfectly done. It's very atmospheric, it's imposing, it's even slightly scary when you finally, like, fight him. I can remember when he, like, just showed me his Triforce hand and it, like, started, like, pulsating. I was like, oh my god, what's happening here?
Yep. This was an honorable mention for me.
Nice.
Yeah, this fight was really good. And I never beat... Oh, okay, I can't say that. I beat Ocarina of Time, but I beat it later in life. Like, I played the shit out of Ocarina of Time when I was a kid, but I could never beat it because I didn't have a strategy guide or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did beat it, I don't know, like 5 years ago or something like that. And I remember this fight really well. And I remember this last phase of the fight being really cool because that, like, pig demon sort of thing, where he's, like, gigantic
he's like
and menacing.
3 times your size,
Yeah.
and, like...
He has, like, these 2 swords, and it's really dark. You can see his
so you
swords.
can't see him that well. Just more like his glowing eyes and shit.
Yeah, his glowing eyes and his swords that glimmer, and you can kind of see his horns because it's, like, you can see the silhouette of him, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool visually, too.
In a stormy night, no less. Like,
Oh.
it really was just atmospheric.
Yeah. That was a
I
cool
also...
fight.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, that was just agreeing.
I also like how that boss fight, or specifically the last part of it, forced you out of your comfort zone because he knocks your sword away. And
yeah.
Yeah, remember that? Like, you've never had to fight an enemy before without your sword.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look when you see this thing that's like the size of like 10 brick shit houses put together, and he slaps your sword out of your hand and you can't go get it, you're just kind of like, well, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But then you remember you have a hammer.
Hammer.
So overall, yeah, I think it's an engrossing atmospheric battle. Established a paradigm, sort of final bosses in Zelda franchise. Featuring multiple phases, variegated gameplay, slowly culminates in this satisfying crescendo of intensity with regards to gameplay and narrative. Only thing I don't like about it is fuck Ganondorf!
Yeah. Casey, I'm going to predict that we're going to have 3 overlapping bosses.
No. Right.
All right.
I don't... Oh, just one more thing.
Yeah.
First phase of that fight can be really tedious.
Oh, yeah. All right, Casey.
Uh-huh.
My number 4 is Stallard, Stallord from Twilight
Fuck
Princess.
Me. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
1 out of 3.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So, we mentioned this in previous podcast, this last one, but you have like the spinning cog item or whatever, and it's not that useful for most of the game, but in this boss fight, it was awesome. So the first phase,
awesome.
Yeah, the first phase of this boss fight is like you're in like this kind of pit area with this like bone lizard demon thing.
He's a giant Stalfos, really. It's just a giant skeleton.
Yeah, and for the first phase, you have like this pit, like I was saying, and in the bottom of the pit, you have the boss, and you use the spinning cog to like surf your way into his spinal column, and you break him down that way. I don't know, so that part was pretty cool, but the really cool part was the second phase of the fight, where he becomes like this floating head thing that's shooting like fireballs at you, and you have those spinning cog like lanes that you can bounce in between, and then hit his head with the spinning cog, and then beat the shit out of him with your sword. I don't. It takes up a lot of space, and it's like high octane, moving really fast, as opposed to a lot of these fights. That's why I liked it.
This is why you wanted to go first, so you could, because you knew we would overlap on a few of these, and you wanted to steal all my talking points.
That's exactly what I wanted. That was the plan.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I agree with all that. I think it's a really good fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I put it on my top 5 or anything like that, but
Casey. All right, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Morpheal from Twilight Princess.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Yeah, we all know more. Okay, it's the third boss of the Lakebed Temple, the Zora Temple from Twilight Princess. It's a gigantic fucking eel. And when I say gigantic, I mean like he's one of, if not the most, he's one of the largest bosses in all of Zelda history. Like, he's a giant eel. Fights in 2 stages. The first stage of the fight is extremely similar to the boss from the Water Temple of Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember how that thing had like tentacles that had this eyeball floating between it, and you had to claw shot it out?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that's exactly what the first phase of Morpheal is like, except on a larger scale, but still the same principle.
Okay.
The second stage is where it gets really cool, though, because you piss off this giant eel, so he starts swimming away, and you have to give chase to him by swimming in your Zora armor, which allows you to swim faster. And then you have to grapple onto his head and wail on his eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like about this fight is it's reminiscent of Shadow of the Colossus, quite frankly. Like, there's a boss that is almost like point for point like this Morpheal thing in Shadow of the Colossus, where you have to chase a serpent underwater, grab onto him, and beat the hell out of him. And the serpent is like 50,000 times your height.
Yeah.
I also like how, as a boss, he required the use of 4 different items to beat him.
Oh, that's unusual.
Yeah, because you needed the iron boots to sink to the ground to fight his first phase. You needed the Zora suit to swim and give chase to him in his second phase, as well as the grappling hook during both of those phases. Oh, and you could all, I guess that's not really necessary. You could also use water bombs, but that's non-integral. Still, 3 items is pretty unusual for a Zelda boss.
Yeah.
Only complaint, he's way too fucking easy. Like, almost every boss in that game, he's just too fucking easy.
Mm-hmm. I feel that way about most Zelda bosses. That I don't. There's hardly been any that haven't been like first time wins for me.
Yeah, I mean, Ocarina of Time, I thought, had a few harder bosses, I thought. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you mean, that none of them have been terribly difficult.
Yeah. Well, my number 3 boss is Goat.
Son of a... I mean, go on.
Goht from Majora's Mask. And I played Majora's Mask pretty recently. It was last year, I believe, or at least
one to 2
before.
years, roughly.
Yeah, 1 to 2 years ago. So Goat's like, how would you describe this? And it's like,
he's a goat. Like,
he's like this gigantic, dark, like
he's
horse
a mechanical goat
thing. Yeah, and he's in like this circular arena. And this is okay. In Majora's Mask, you get these masks that change your form. One of the masks that you get lets you change into like this Goron form. And in Goron
best
form,
mask in the game.
yeah, you can roll and like pick up a whole bunch of speed, and then you get like if you ram into things, you can do a whole bunch of damage. So the fight for this is you're rolling around in this circle with this gigantic mechanical goat thing, and you have to dodge his like laser attacks that are hitting you from his butt. And
Okay.
as you're dodging these things, there are like these little ramps that you can go on, and you go up the
Golden
ramp.
shower, Austin.
Yeah. You go on these ramps and you'll go up into the air, and you have to try and time it so that you hit the goat guy a few times. But it's just way different than hardly any other boss fight that I could think of. And just like Stallard, it was like really fast-paced one, and you're covering a lot of ground during the fight.
Yeah, it's funny how Stallord and Goat are extremely similar bosses in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of movement. But that's my number 3. Casey, number 3.
God, I really hope that this isn't the other overlapping one. My number 3 are the Sorceress Sisters that form into Twin Rova from Ocarina of Time.
This was an honorable mention. So
thank God. Okay, so yeah, they're the 8th boss, the boss of the Gerudo Temple. They're 2 sister witches. Fuck off! They're 2 sister witches that ultimately merge into one boss. I like these guys because they're quirky bosses. I think, if memory serves, they're the only bosses outside Ganondorf, arguably, in all of Ocarina of Time that have personality. Probably because they actually have mouths and can talk.
Okay.
But because you remember they like argue with each other, and they're elderly witch sisters.
Yeah.
So I like that, but I mean, and anyone who saw the last podcast, the 2 of you, hi. You'll know that I like this fight because it made good use of the mirror shield. I like its the first stage where you have the fire and ice witches fly around and they hurl their respective element at you. You have to use your shield to redirect the element at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Second stage, they merge into one, shoot both fire and ice. You have to absorb their blast and fire it back at them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a clever fight, got some personality to it. I think it's got one of the best endings to a boss fight, because once you beat them, the witch sisters unfuse, and then they start arguing about which of them is the older sister as they're dying, and they like start floating to heaven and shit. It was very comedic.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. You took all the points that I wanted to say, so there you go. Twin Rova. It's a good boss fight.
Yeah, only thing that sucks, and I said this before, aiming with the shield can be really fucking annoying.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. So I guess that leaves my number 2.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking this might be an overlapping one.
Okay.
Ganon from Wind Waker. Final boss.
Yeah, I debated for a while which of the Ganondorfs I was going to put in number 5, but I just went with, because Ocarina of Time is just that classic to me.
Yeah, I like this soft spot in my heart for boss fights that are like humanoids sometimes. So like the beginning of this fight is just like straight up sword battle.
Yeah.
And then, you have Zelda, had we mentioned a few times before, shooting light arrows. And then that moment that we've already mentioned like 3 times where you use the mirror shield to reflect a light arrow from Zelda shooting at you to Ganon.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize when that was happening, but it was like, I don't know, awesome teamwork. And I don't know, that was the cool moment for me, for that, like, the coolest moment for me that Zelda's ever had.
Wow, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't. It's just because it was, gameplay, interaction, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I have a soft spot in my heart for that moment in that game.
If I may point out, I also like the aesthetics of that boss fight. Because correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Hyrule starting to sink or something like that?
There's like the water that's held up above you is starting to break. So like that gigantic sea is sort of like spilling into the area.
Yeah.
That was really neat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Casey, number 2.
All right, since I mean, no one knows what this is yet, but I got a question for you.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Theoretically, if Star-Lord and Goat were the overlaps that you so incorrectly think, which one do you think would be number 2?
Star-Lord.
Fuck! Well, number 2 is Star-Lord from Twilight Princess. He's the 4th boss of the Arbiter's Grounds. He's a gigantic demon skeleton.
Yeah.
I like him because he makes excellent use of the spinner. He is a boss in the middle of quicksand. Use spinner to travel and slam his spinal. Get more damage. Skeleton summoned that you must circumnavigate to reach his spinal.
Nice.
Second phase features chasing floating head, round donut, arena via walls in the spinner.
Sphincter?
No, spinner. It's exciting, it's epic, it's fun. Use spinner to catch up, jump between walls, dodge fireballs, and strike head. Satisfying. It's too easy.
Nice notes, Casey.
Thanks. I will say, though, I just love these bosses because I'm like, I think I said this before, I like when there's like an extreme sports feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The idea of like having to dodge and like navigate the walls while doing this is really fun to me.
Yeah, I like Nintendo does do mini games well in games, like where you totally break the standard gameplay and just like impose a different style of gameplay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I can appreciate, and that's one of those instances where I think they do it really well.
Glad we agree.
All right, Casey. What?
For some of your honorables.
Okay, we already mentioned Twin Rova, and one thing that I almost put in here after I was like going through all those games or whatever, I forgot about this one character, and I really did like this fight, even though I don't think I died, but I almost died. Odolwa from Majora's Mask.
Odolwa?
Odolwa?
You mean the Aztec guy?
Yeah, the Aztec guy. He's like the first boss in Majora's Mask. He's like this humanoid dude, and the coolest part about him was that you could use anything on him. Like everything that you had worked. Like Deku nuts, you could hit him with your sword. You could hit him with bombs, arrows, or whatever you had. Normally, these characters like they'll have like a weak spot, and you have to use the item that you got in the dungeon. And it's kind of like predictable. This one was just like a brawl.
Yeah.
And since he was the first boss, he only had 3 hearts. So he
could deal some he could be a bitch to fight because of like that 3 hearts thing because he could cover some range.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just liked that tension and that you could do whatever you could think of in that moment. You could do. Which is cool.
Can I just say?
You can just say.
Oh, thanks. Say what I want to say about Odolwa. The thing that I find most memorable about him is what he says when he fights you. And I'll never forget it, because he'll go like, "Ah-da-da-da! Ah-da-da-da!" And then there's this one point where he starts like summoning butterflies, and I swear it always sounded like he was saying, "Madonna! Madonna! Madonna!"
That's cool.
I was just like, Odolwa's a fan of Madonna, eh? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, Casey. My number 1 is Phantom Ganon.
Oh, cool. That's in my honorable.
Yeah. It was the first boss that I thought of when you were like, let's do a boss list. And I was like, nice. Okay, Phantom Ganon's number 1. I already know. Out of the gate.
He was epic.
So, for anybody who hasn't played Ocarina of Time, he was the first boss, right?
No.
He wasn't the first boss. But he's the Forest Temple when you're...
He's the first boss of Adult Link's journey.
Okay, the first boss of Adult Link, yeah.
Adult Link?
Yeah, and this was in our dungeon list for last episode. though we mentioned him slightly. But at the end of the dungeon, you go like up these circular stairs or whatever, and you go into like this, I don't know, it's like an art gallery area in a circle, and you just walk in there, and there's like some paintings on the wall, but there's nothing here. So then you eventually go to leave, and then this gate closes, and then the boss fight starts, and it's Ganon that's on a horse that's traveling through these paintings. So you have to walk, like, look around and see which painting he's going to come out of, and you have to hit him with an arrow. So that'd be the first phase of the battle. So you're constantly trying to look around, which is, I don't know, it's neat. And this is something that you obviously couldn't do in a 2D game, and this is the first 3D Zelda game, so I just thought...
Yeah, that's a very cinematic kind of thing that it was able to pull off.
Yeah, I thought that was good design for that. And then the second phase is the tennis match, or the beach volleyball that happens.
Oh, he played oh fuck, I don't remember the name of that tennis anime. Shield, no, that's soccer. Whatever.
You play some Mario Tennis, and it's that. I mean, that's an okay part of the fight, but I thought that the really cool part was the paintings coming in and out of. So that was a good fight. I liked it. Casey.
My honorable mentions are Phantom Ganon, Twin Mold from Majora's Mask. Those two giant centipede creatures that you fight.
Oh, right.
Just because I like the whole becoming giant and then also needing to conserve your magic.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And then also Goma from Wind Waker, the parasite-looking first boss that you fight that's pinching on Dragon Tail. And that's got to be some kind of innuendo.
That's the reoccurring one, isn't that? Is it a spider? Is that a spider?
I mean, yeah, I think it's supposed to be. It looks like a fucking termite to me whenever I see it, but...
Like in Ocarina of Time? I think that's the first boss in Ocarina of Time. It's the spider that you look up and you see the eye.
Yeah, exactly. And this is pretty much just like Wind Waker's answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a cool boss that involved like swinging on Dragon Tail. What is with all the innuendo? And then killing termite.
Yeah. Casey.
So,
number one.
My number one boss fight is Got from Majora's Mask.
Got
milk.
Got some goat milk.
Ew, yummy. I like goat because the arena is donut shaped. Awaken, boss will run, damage it to catch up and trip it up when you wail on it.
Yeah.
Boss moves. Oh fuck it. I like how I just like that it's challenging and it's exhilarating. Everything Austin said.
Yeah.
I do like how you have to maintain top speed to catch up to him. So you have to avoid momentum killing obstacles and even just the way you turn and needs to be monitored. You can't even really use the ramps until you're certain that you're gonna hit him, because when you land from a ramp, your speed decreases.
That's true. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Goat's awesome.
One thing that I remember about this fight is that I survived with half a heart.
Nice. Yeah, he could be a bitch. He could really be a bitch.
He could be a bitch, and there were some items that you could get. So okay, if you were in Goron form, did you need magic to be able to hurt him? Or am I making that up?
You needed magic to be able to do the rolling form that could trip him up, but outside of that, you didn't need magic to wail on him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the rolling form. So throughout the level, there's these things that you can break.
Yeah, little green pots that revive your magic.
Yeah, you try and get those so that you can maintain that top speed and hit them.
And that was awesome that you had to be mindful of that as well.
Yeah. So I remember that there was a bunch of tension where I was like, okay, I can't get too close because then he might hit me with his fucking shit attack.
Golden shower.
But I do need to get some stuff, and then I need to time my ramp, and I don't know. I just remember that the end of that fight being super duper intense.
It's so good. I like everything you've said. Everything you've said times 4.
Because it was your number one. Juan.
Hey, is there any bosses you hate?
Ooh, any bosses I hate? I am having trouble coming up with any. Okay, the first boss in the one with the dragon's tail.
Oh, don't like that one?
Yeah, was that Wind Waker?
Yeah, that was Wind Waker.
Yeah, that one was just I forget what it was. Like, you had to propel yourself up or no, what did you have to do? You had to, like,
Like,
pull
there's
the
a
tail
tail
down.
swinging in the middle of the ceiling. You have to, like, use your grappling hook thing to latch onto it, swing
Yeah.
to the other side, then the dragon, like, gets pissed off and throws the ceiling down on Goma.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Because it was too simple.
It was very simple.
That's the first... I mean, that's the only one that I can think of that I really just didn't like.
Not going to spoil too much of this for you, but anyone who listens to this, and I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, guys, I fucking hate the Imprisoned from Skyward Sword. Fuck that fucking boss with the rustiest screw in the world.
Why?
I will search the ancient ruins of Damocles to find the ancient screw that will be fucked into him.
Okay.
And I will not spoil this thing for you, because you would just need to experience this.
Alright. I'll experience one day.
But I hate that one so much.
I'll probably experience that at your place. Probably play some Skyward Sword sometime.
More innuendo. What is it with you?
Yeah.
We didn't cut.
You can give us a little outro, Casey.
Hey guys, like what we put in our top 5s? What would you put in yours? Got suggestions for other top 5s? Put all those things down below in the comment section.
Thank you for listening.
Next time on the 25th, Top Zelda Games.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5!